All right, lovely. So Goober is like really active tonight. So just a warning, you might see a lot of him. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining. We will do some nice movements for 45 minutes. And a good important thing to remember is to have fun and know that this is your practice. So you get to make the decision about what poses to go into, how fast to move, how slow to move. And it's all a practice. So let's start with a comfortable seated position, maybe sitting cross-legged or using a blocker pillow if you'd like for some props. If you'd like to gently close your eyes down or bring your gaze straight ahead or to the tip of your nose or on the floor. And as you land here, allow yourself to get comfortable. So whatever adjusting you need to do, go ahead and do that because we'll be here for a few moments before we start getting into the movements. And I always like to take this time as a moment to check in with yourself, your mind, your body, your emotions, and just checking in to see how things are going and how you're feeling. Notice where there's any tension and see if you can let this become like a restorative, comfortable position. So the fingertips are gently resting maybe on top of the knees. Your elbows are nice and loose. Spine is lengthening up towards the ceiling, and maybe as you take an inhale, you notice a slight lift up in your heart and sternum. And your shoulders are relaxed, melting down the back. And we're sitting up nice and tall, and we'll stay here while we take a few deep breaths in. So on the inhale, let it be slow and take a breath in through your nose. And then when you're full, gently open the mouth and do a long exhale out. And continue with that breath in this seated pose. So that breath will kind of spark up our parasympathetic nervous system and really allow our mind to really slow down and begin to quiet down as we move through the practice. And if there's any intention you'd like to set before the practice begins, I always like to offer that. Another full deep breath in through the nose. And long exhale out through the mouth. And gently blinking the eyes open. Leaving the hands gently on the knees, we'll come into some seated cat-cow. So as you inhale, start to kind of curve in your spine. Lift the gaze maybe up towards the ceiling. Feel the shoulders melt down your back. And then as you exhale, round in your spine, hug your belly button towards your spine, drop your chin a bit, straighten out a bit kind of through the arms. So really feeling a roundness happening through your spine. And then keep moving like that. So on the inhale, this would be like our cow pose. So we've got a curve in the spine, sternum is lifting, the heart is nice and wide. And then on the exhale, go ahead and round in your spine, tuck your chin. So let the head and neck kind of drop and hang heavy. And a few more times. Inhale, big breath. And exhale, round in the spine. One more time. Inhale. Let it lift up. And big exhale out, round in your spine. And finding your way back to a neutral seated position, begin to take the upper body in some circles. And as you move through the practice, kind of cue in and observe how things are feeling as you move. So if there's a tension or a tightness or a stiffness, see what you can do to kind of make some adjustments to let it become a bit more fluid. And sometimes it's simple as just incorporating the breath. And possibly switching your directions if you'd like. And returning to your center, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to warm up the hips a little bit. So reaching for your right leg. You can have a hand on the bottom of your right foot and another hand on the right knee. And so from here, we're just going to do a gentle rock from side to side. And to get into the pose a little bit deeper, you can interlace the fingertips. You're kind of wrapping up your right shin. And so this is maybe giving you a stretch through your right glute muscle. And for a deeper stretch, you're kind of pulling this right shin in a bit closer towards you. We're going to extend the left leg out nice and long, so either kicking it out or maybe dropping a hand back for some support as you extend your left leg. Big inhale, squeeze your right shin in, lift the heart. And on the exhale, drop this right foot up and over the left. So the right knee is staying bent. Lengthen up through your spine and we'll come into a spinal twist. So inhaling your left arm to the ceiling. And then exhale, twisting to the right. So your left elbow dropping to the right knee. And maybe glancing over your right shoulder. So feeling a nice rotation through the spine. Notice if you're really collapsing or falling back into this right hand. We want to actually use some core strength here. Keep lifting the spine, lengthening it up towards the ceiling. Another big breath in. And big exhale, let it go. Come back through center and float your way over to the other side. So just a quick stretch and glance over towards your left. And right back towards center. We'll drop our way into a seated tree pose. So the right foot can either fit right in the kind of hip crest, or if you'd like, placing it all the way on the ground here. So your right knee is bent, left leg still nice and long. Using an inhale, we'll bring in length. So reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, reach for the left foot. Maybe feeling a stretch through the back of the left leg, so through the hamstring and calf. And decide where you'd like your hands. So the hands can either be on the floor if they're not yet at the reaching the foot, or if you've got the foot, go ahead and maybe flex the left toes towards your face and you'll feel a bit of a deeper stretch through your calf. This is a great pose for using a yoga strap too, if the hands aren't quite reaching the foot yet. And slowly lift your way back up. So you're sitting up nice and tall, and we'll go to the other side. So begin to bend your left knee and use your hands to reach for the knee and the foot. Option to stay here or go a bit deeper. Your hips allow, and you've got a nice grip with your fingers here. So gentle movements here if it feels good for you, if it's feeling nice in the hip. And then we'll extend the right leg nice and long, so kicking it out. And then a nice breath in. See if you can squeeze your left leg a bit in towards the chest. And exhale, drop it over, up and over this right leg. Drop your left hand down on the floor. We'll inhale, reach your right arm up high towards the ceiling. So nice length here, reaching through the fingertips. As you exhale, start to bend through your right elbow. Hook it at that left knee. And you can kind of use this right elbow to press against the left knee to kind of just get a bit more of a twist if it's feeling okay on your spine. And another deep breath in. And exhale, let it go. So float back through center. And if you'd like, just keep going to the other side. Nice little counter stretch. So just here for a breath. Nice inhale, looking over your right shoulder. And then exhale back towards center. Shifting right into your tree pose. So bringing your left foot either to the floor, up along the right thigh, or bring it into the hip crest. All right, using an inhale to reach and lengthen up. And big exhale, reach for the right foot. And a nice thing I like to pay attention to in these seated forward folds is if I'm really rounding in my shoulders, so something I work on is trying to keep a flat back and letting my heart lead the way as I come into the seated forward folds. Reaching for that right foot if you've got it. All right, bringing yourself way back on up. And leave this left leg bent. Let's bend our right knee. We'll bring the soles of our feet together. So while we use our breath through yoga, the inhales are really used to lengthen out. So take a big breath in, see what else can lengthen. Maybe just the top of the head reaches up just a tiny bit more. And on the exhale, we sort of fold and go a bit deeper into a pose. So here we are kind of folding into the pose. If you'd like to use your elbows to gently press against your inner thighs, that will give you a bit of a deeper stretch. And again, this is another one of those poses where I'm paying attention to the spine here. So seeing if you can let the heart lead the way as you start to fold forward and we're not kind of just rounding and closing down. If this doesn't feel good, you can always just stay sitting up nice and straight. So let's take another breath in. And exhale, let it go. Come on back up. We'll come back into a seated position. So maybe shifting into crossed legs. We'll continue warming up the spine a bit. Place your right hand down on the ground. Big inhale, reach your left arm up. Awesome. Exhale, reach over towards your right. And so your left bicep is sort of hovering over your ear, really reaching and extending through your left fingertips, feeling a nice stretch through the left side body. And your next exhale, come back through center. Go to your other side, so sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, reaching your right arm up, getting some good length here. And then on the exhale, find your way into the pose. And here you can actually just gently press against your left hand a little bit and kind of focus on grounding your right hip down. And that may give you a bit of a deeper stretch through the side body on the right side. Another breath in. We'll go back to the other side. Exhale your way up through center. Right hand gently down on the floor. Inhale, reach the left arm up. And exhale, reach. So another option here, dropping your right forearm down. And the gaze can either be up at the ceiling, straight ahead, or down at the floor. Another breath in here. And exhale, let it go. Moving back up through center and to the other side. One last time. Inhale, breath in. And exhale, reach over towards your left, dropping down to your left elbow and forearm if you'd like. As you exhale, make your way back through center. And from here, let's just roll the shoulders up on an inhale so they squeeze up towards the ears. And then on the exhale, roll them back down. And a couple more times. Inhale, hug them up. Exhale, drop them down. And from here, just drop your chin towards your chest. So you're letting the back of your neck lengthen out. And then lifting the head back up, if it feels comfortable, gently start to walk the chin a bit up towards the ceiling. So you're letting the back of the head drop back. Front of the throat is opening. Stay loose through your jaw as you do this. And then back through center, right ear to right shoulder. So we're just warming up cervical spine here. Back up through center, over to the other side, so your left ear, left shoulder. And back up through center. All right, let's find our way into child's pose. Goober probably just see someone out the window. So dropping into your child's pose, an awesome, lovely restorative home-based pose. So the knees are spread nice and wide. The big toes are maybe touching behind you or aiming to touch behind you on the tops of your feet. And you're going to reach the arms forward. Fingertips are spread nice and wide, and we want to drop our forehead into contact with something. So either dropping it onto the mat, Cooper, please, or using a pillow or a yoga block. Good job. So your fingertips are spread nice and wide in your child's pose. And for an active child's pose, you can press into your finger pads and see how they ignite through your arms. So if you'd like an active one, gently lift your elbows up off the mat. Pressing into the finger pad, see if you can send your hips back closer towards your heels. Maybe starting to feel a stretch underneath this armpit area. And then a more relaxed child's pose is kind of loosening the grips through your fingertips. Let your elbows rest on the mat. And breathe. So let's take 3 breaths in here. And from your child's pose, begin to shift your way up to your tabletop. So for your tabletop, bring your knees in a bit closer towards one another so they are about hips width distance apart. Same with the hands. The fingertips are still spread nice and wide, so we've got a nice base of support. While you're setting this up, if you'd like to take some circles with your hips, you can do that. And again, staying soft through the elbows. We want to protect the neck in tabletop, so the gaze is just between the 2 hands, so the back of the neck stays nice and long. Let's come back to a neutral tabletop. Fingertips are spread nice and wide. And again, arms are really engaged and you're pressing the floor away from you. Core is really engaged, so if you want, you can even touch it. Make sure the abs are engaged. And from here, keeping the neck nice and long, just kick your right foot back behind you. We want to engage through this right leg. So we do that by kicking out through the heel, so the right foot is flexed towards the floor. Notice yourself dropping and sinking into the shoulders. Activate through the arms and use the core. On your exhale, breath out, go ahead and bring your right toes just down to the floor. So the left knee is staying bent and on the mat, and we're dropping into a calf stretch. So if you'd like, just gently maybe walk your hands an inch or 2 forward, press into the hands, and then work on sending your right heel down towards the floor. And then aligning your hands back underneath the shoulders, go ahead and lift your right leg up. We're gonna bring it up and over the left leg. So dropping the right toes to the floor and gazing over your left shoulder. Getting a side body stretch through the right side. And then bringing it back to your tabletop position. And to the other side. So engage the core, press the mat away from you, back of the neck nice and long. Send your left leg back behind you. So your left heel should kind of be in line with the glutes. Left toes are flexed, pointing down towards the ground. And on your next exhale, drop your left toes down. Now working on sending this heel down towards the ground. So if you want, shift your hands forward just an inch or two, really press into them, engage the arms, and feel the stretch. And then we'll bring this left leg up and over the right leg, and then dropping your left toes down towards the ground. The left leg is staying nice and long. You can gaze over your right shoulder and take a peek at your toes. And bring it on back to your tabletop. Okay, from here, let's come into downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under, and now bring your hands forward about 4 or 5 inches. Keep them hips width distance apart, and keep the fingertips spread nice and wide. Press into the finger pads, engage the arms, bend your knees, and lift your hips up. So maybe this is the first downward facing dog of the day, so we can start with really bent knees, soft elbows, wiggle around here and see how things are feeling. We can use the breath as we move here. So taking an inhale, lifting on your tippy toes, peel your heels up away from the mat, breath in. And then on the exhale, descend the heels down towards the ground. And in your downward facing dog, you're pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Let's take an inhale, roll forward to a high plank. So high plank has similar alignment to the tabletop in that we want our shoulders over our wrists, fingertips spread nice and wide. Modification here is just dropping your knees down. Legs and core are nice and active, and we'll shift into a side plank. So coming into side plank on the right side. So leaving your right hand down on the floor. You're rolling onto the edges of the feet. Another option is bringing your right knee down to the mat. You can lift your left arm up towards the ceiling, or maybe bend the elbow and bring your left hand to the hip. Continue breathing, grounding down through this right hand, lifting the hips up. Another breath in. Exhale with control, shift your way back towards your high plank. Maybe stay here for a nice little reset breath, and then roll over to the other side. So left hand is staying down, and the right arm is either reaching up towards the ceiling, maybe it's coming to the hip or to your low back. Hips are lifting up, the legs are really engaged. Use the core. 3, 2, and 1. Slow exhale back to your high plank. Go ahead and drop your knees down. Soften through your elbows and sink through your hips. So we're in a nice kind of juicy upward facing dog. Nice opportunity to make some gentle, slow movements here. And from here, let's go ahead and shift back into a tabletop position. Again, so walk your wrists back so that they're underneath your shoulders. And we'll come into some side twists here. So we're going to scoot our right foot forward. So bring the right foot between your two hands. And check out your foot. Make sure your right toes are facing directly forward, and you've got your right knee right over your right ankle. To go a bit deeper, tuck your back toes under and lift your back leg. Going to leave the left hand down, and we're going to twist and reach your right arm towards the ceiling. Option for a half bind here, so the back of your right hand comes to the low back, helps the right shoulder open a bit more. Really strong here, so think this back leg nice and strong, spine is lengthening out. On your exhale, drop your right hands down on the outside of your foot and twist to the other side, reaching your left arm up towards the ceiling. Big breath in. Awesome. Exhale, let it go. Coming back to that low lunge, drop your left knee back down. Shift into your runner stretch. So we want to straighten through your right leg. Flex your right toes towards your face. Back of the right leg is opening up with this stretch. And gently make your way back to that low lunge. So bring a bend through your right knee. You've got a hand on either side of the foot. Really press into your right foot. Use the core and lift up. So spine is lengthening up towards the ceiling. Place both hands to the top of the right knee. And to go deeper again, tuck your back toes under and lift the back knee if you'd like. Right toes are facing directly forward. Maybe your gaze is just straight ahead. And lots of stuff happening in this left leg, so the quadricep and hip flexors are opening up. And you've got a strong core for 3, 2, and 1. Gently bring your hands back down towards the mat. We're going to slide this right foot back and come back into tabletop. Let's take a reset breath here. So nice deep breath in through the nose. And long exhale out. So shift your left leg forward. So we're going to bring it between the two hands. Left toes are facing straight ahead. And you've got your left knee over your left ankle. Again, an option here as we come into the twist is tucking the back toes under and lifting the right leg. So leaving your right hand down on the mat, big inhale. Twist and reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. And exhale, let it go. Leaving that left hand down, go to the other side. Big inhale, twist and open to the ceiling with your right hand. And exhale, drop it down. Gently drop the back knee. And we'll come into runner stretch. So straighten through the front left leg. And again, another one of the fold-in poses where I like to focus a bit on letting the heart stay open and the spine nice and flat. So if you find yourself kind of rounding into this pose, see if maybe you can tent the fingertips and challenge yourself to lead with the heart. Start to bend through your left knee, bring your left foot to the floor. We're going to find our way back into sort of a modified crescent lunge here. So left knee right over the left ankle. Go ahead and bring your hands to the top of the left knee and see if you can square your hips so that they're directly forward. Like I just noticed mine were kind of shifted over a bit. So kind of lift up. See if you can get this right hip to kind of come forward to meet the left. So engaging some of the low abs. And another breath in. And exhale, let that go. Bring your hands down and let's slide this left foot back to tabletop. Bring your hands forward, tuck your toes under, shift your way right into downward facing dog. Feel how the bend in the knees is feeling, and if you'd like to go deeper, start to straighten out through the legs, so having less of a bend here, but still sending your chest back towards your thighs. Big inhale, and nice breath out. We'll come into some sun salutations, so start to walk your feet forward up towards your hands. Nice and slowly, and then either having maybe 4 or 5 inches between your feet, or for more of a challenge with your balance, you're bringing your big toes to touch and you have about an inch between your heels. So let's remain in our forward fold. Soft bend through the knees. It's like your ribs are almost folding on top of your thighs. So let your head and neck relax and hang heavy. You're really grounded down through your feet, soles of the feet. So bring your attention there. Maybe lift all 10 of your toes gently up off the mat. And then on your exhale, slowly lower them all back down. We'll find our way into a halfway lift. So on the inhale, let your hands maybe come to your shins. Shoulders pull back away from the ears. And the heart lifts, back the neck nice and long. So a halfway lift. And then as you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. So even here, you're using the core. Spine is nice and straight. This is also sometimes called flat back. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Heart's pulling forward, and even in a halfway lift, you've got a small micro bend through the knees. Exhale, fold, let it go. We'll rise all the way up to stand. So use the inhale, press through the feet, engage through the legs, and slowly round and rise up. And inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Continue pressing through your feet. Maybe your hips press forward and you come into a little bit of a back bend. As you exhale, bring your palms together and bring your hands to heart center. Again, keeping a small bend through the knees, shoulders nice and relaxed, gaze is straight ahead. We'll go into half sun salutation. So inhale, reach the arms up, press through your feet. And big exhale as you fold forward. Again, let the heart lead the way as you fold. Still a bend through the knees. Inhale to your halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, press through your feet, rise up to stand. Arms are reaching up overhead, and we will just keep on moving. So on the exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Shoulders are pulling away from your ears. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise up, press through your feet. And exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. So from here, leave your hands on the ground. We're going to step our left foot back. And we're going to come into a crescent lunge. So typically in a crescent lunge, you've got all 10 toes facing forward and your back heel is lifted up over the toes. So you can always drop your knee here. And for more of a balance, bring some width between your feet. So it's like your feet are on railroad tracks. Right knee is still lifted right above your right ankle. And again, hips facing forward. So cue into the back here, see how your leg feels. Sometimes a small bend can feel nice. For other people, you know, it kind of feels a bit better to really lift the back of the knee up towards the ceiling to strengthen through the leg. Okay. Spine is lengthening up, shoulders nice and relaxed. You can either stay here, maybe arms reaching up towards the ceiling. Or maybe your arms are on top of your right knee. Or if you'd like to come into a gentle twist, bring your left hand to the right knee, back of your right hand to the low back. We're twisting and gazing over that right shoulder. Hugging energy up and in, stay in the twist for another breath. And as you exhale, we're going to shift right into a warrior two. So the front leg stays the same, and we're just kind of anchoring down in this back leg. So your left foot is almost parallel with the back edge of the mat. And scoot your right foot maybe towards the middle more, so your right heel kind of intersects right through the arc of your back foot. All right, so right toes are still facing directly forward, and we've got this nice bend through your right leg. And then we reach the arms to the front and back edge of our mat. Shoulders are stacked right above your hips here, and the gaze is right over the front middle finger. Let's take an inhale, flip your palm and reverse your warrior. So we're reaching up with the right fingertip. So we're bringing in length to the side body. Once we've got that length, And we can kind of start to reach back a bit. Again, fingertips spread nice and wide. Goal is to stay in a nice bend through our front right knee. And we'll dip our way right into a side angle. So again, staying low in that knee, right elbow comes to the top of the right thigh. And the left arm is either reaching up towards the ceiling or maybe the hand stays right on the left hip. If you want to drop into an extended side angle, you can start to slide this right hand down to the floor if you have a block. And the left hand starts to reach up overhead towards the front edge of the mat. So you've got your left bicep over your left ear. So a nice straight line with the leg and arm. We'll stay here, another breath, and on your next exhale, we're gonna shift into deepest lunge. So come onto the ball of the back foot. So hips are shifted down, kind of towards the ground. Both hands come down towards the mat and start to walk your right foot out towards the right. Option to drop right down to your back knee. And a stretch is happening through the right hip, the right glute, and even through the front of this left leg. So if you've got a block or some pillows, you're welcome to drop down to your forearms. So that will give you a bit of a deeper stretch. We'll find our way out of this by transitioning into a high plank. So tuck your back toes under. Rise up onto your hands if you were down onto your forearms. Use the core and lift this back knee up. Press into your hands and go ahead and step this right foot and leg back to your high plank. Stay here for a big breath in. On your exhale, lift the hips up, downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, start to walk your feet up towards your hands. And we will inhale to a halfway lift. And exhale to fold. We'll rise all the way up, big inhale, press through your feet and lift. And exhale, let it go. So from here, staying in our forward fold, hands are maybe down on the ground. We're going to step our right foot back and we'll come into our crescent lunge. So again, maybe adjusting the feet here. All 10 toes facing forward. Your right heel is lifted up off the ground. And your left knee is right over your left ankle. So when you're ready, power up through the core, engage through your legs, and lift. Again, always have an option to drop this back knee directly to the floor. So really grounded down through your feet. Lots of options with the hands. You can either stay on top of your left knee, reaching your arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing one another. Or a gentle twist if you'd like. So just really gentle with your right hand to your left knee, and the back of your left hand to your low back. Staying with a nice steady breath. On your next exhale, shift your way into your warrior two. So you're going to spin your right foot down. We want to align ourselves here so that we stay safe. So walking this left foot in a bit more towards the middle of the mat so the left heel intersects right at the arc of the right foot. And in this pose, in warrior two, we want to work on squeezing our knee out towards the pinky edge side of this left foot. It can get kind of wobbly and dangerous if you find this knee kind of caving in towards the middle. So really strong through the legs. Energy's hugging up and in, your shoulders right over the hips. And reaching your hands to the front and back edge of your mat. Noticing if you can sink a little bit deeper into your front leg. Staying low in that front leg, inhale, we'll reverse our warrior, flip and revolve. So your backhand just gently kind of trails along the back leg. And this left arm reaching up and then a bit back. And then to your side angle. Lots of core stuff here in your side angles. So we don't want to just be dropping onto the left elbow. We really want to continue using the core, and we're just gently resting this left elbow on top of the left thigh. So right arm is either reaching up towards the ceiling, or you've got a bent elbow with your right hand on the hip. Or if you'd like to extend the side angle, left hand either sliding down to the ground or on a block. And we get there by bending deeper through this front leg. And top arm reaching up and overhead. Reach through the right fingertips and really press into that pinky edge side of your right foot. Awesome. Find your fullest expression. Take another big breath in. Exhale, slowly shift into your deepest lunge. So come onto the ball of the back foot. Hands are down towards the ground. And you're shifting this left foot out towards the left edge of your mat. Nice. Maybe dropping onto this back knee. And then option to drop it down to your forearms. So we'll lift our way back up. We're going to shift back into that high plank. So we do that by rising up onto the hands. Tuck the back toes under, lift this back leg. Power up through the core and step your left foot back, high plank. Awesome, and from here, lift it on up, downward facing dog. So we're going to come into pigeon pose, and there's a couple ways to take this. So one way is from downward facing dog. So we do that by, we're going to step the right foot forward, and we're bringing the right knee and shin to the ground. The other way for pigeon pose is taking a reclined pigeon on your back. So this is one way for pigeon pose to get a stretch through that right glute. You can always kind of prop a pillow underneath the right glute. And another way would be to come down onto the back and cross your right ankle over the left knee. So this is just a different way to get that stretch through the right glute. And when you're feeling all satisfied on the other side, go ahead and switch your sides. So if you took the first option, you can press your way back to downward facing dog, and then for pigeon on the left side, you're going to sweep your left foot forward. So you're dropping down onto the left leg, but your left knee is bent here. You want to work on kind of folding the upper body right over that left shin to get a stretch through your left glute. And another full breath in. And nice big exhale out. We'll find our way into Shavasana. So if you did the first option for pigeon pose, go ahead and press your way back into downward facing dog. And then just bring your feet up towards your hands and lower yourself down to a seated position, then down onto your back. And if you're in reclined pigeon pose, you're pretty much already there. So let yourself find comfort. So allowing yourself to let go, so the ankles are just rolling out, hands are wherever they feel comfortable. We'll just be here for a moment, and there's always the option, of course, to stay in this much longer with pillows and blankets. And the goal is to find stillness and let go, and it's often noted as the most challenging pose in yoga. And as you're in this pose, really allowing yourself to fully relax. So elbows, shoulders, fingertips, muscles of the face, hips, knees, and ankles and toes. Going to gently find our way to a seated position. So bring in some small movements. Maybe bend the knees, hug them in towards your chest. And maybe just rock front to back. In a nice, comfortable seated position, like how we started. Again, lengthening up through the spine, relax through the shoulders. Big inhale, reaching your arms up towards the ceiling, palms come together. And exhale, hands to the center of your heart. Let your shoulders relax. Deep inhale through the nose. Long exhale out to the mouth. May you invite in peace, love, and joy. Namaste. Thank you for joining. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully you're feeling good and great. And thank you so much for hopping on and joining.